There is a place, not here or there, but somewhere in between. There is a space in the thin air that really can't be seen. If you listen and observe, you may be surprised. Some may call it Camelot or even paradise. Some may say you cross a bridge, others through a door. But all I know about this place is that I call it Evermore. Evermore.
Good evening, sweet spirits. Welcome to the show. My name is Suzanne Sorrell, and I'm the host of the Evermore Paranormal Network. On this episode, we have a paranormal investigator from Evermore Paranormal, Kat Kirkpatrick. So please welcome Kat to the show. Hello, Kat.
Hello. Thank you for letting me come here.
Well, thank you for coming. So, Kat, let's get some general background information about you before we start talking about ghost hunting.
Okay.
So, where were you born and raised?
I was born in San Francisco, California.
Mm-hmm.
We also, when I grew about 9 years old, we moved to San Rafael and finally to Nevada, where I grew up and left home.
Wow. See, I didn't know that about you. So, do you have any siblings?
Yes, I do. I have 3 sisters and 2 half-brothers.
Yeah, and I'm your other sister,
And
right? From another mother?
Yeah, from another mother.
So, did you go to any kind of, did you go to technical school or college or anything?
Yeah, I graduated at Nevada High School. Then I went and took about maybe a year in junior college. It was Indian Valley College, if I remember.
Mm-hmm.
So that was back in the 80s?
What did you
70s.
study? What did you study there?
I studied ceramics, art, photography, printing.
See, I forget all that about you because I never see any artwork. I want to see some of that stuff. Maybe we can use it on some of my projects.
Sure.
So, did you get married, have kids? That got you out here to the East Coast, right?
Yes, it did. I worked at one place in Vernon County, and I met someone, got married in '83, had a baby in '83, the same year. We moved to Petaluma, California. Then we moved to Missouri.
Mm-hmm. So when you were in Missouri, that's when you started your antique career, right? Your antiques career.
Exactly.
So you have a bunch of years. You worked in an antique mall there?
About 3 years. About 3 years.
And
then we moved here to Virginia.
Oh, then you moved to Virginia and you started working at another antique mall, right?
Yes, yes I did.
So you have a pet, right?
Yeah, his name's Bandit.
And he's a cute little
kitty cat.
I know. I know. We know the story behind that.
Yeah.
So other than ghost hunting, which we're going to get into in the next segment, do you have any hobbies? Do you ever do any of these things, these artsy things that I know nothing about?
Well, when I was in California, when we were first home, I've painted at least 4 foot high on the sheetrock on the walls of the house, and then I started doing that and drawing. Well, actually, I was drawing back when I was sixth grade. So
you need to get back into that, Kat. Really. I mean, I've known you for what, 14 years. I've never seen one thing that you've drawn or painted. I think, is that a passion of yours? Does it really? Do you really enjoy it?
yeah, cartoons and people, plants and animals.
Okay, well, wow, I've learned a lot about you, and I think I knew some of this stuff, but you never bring it up. Do you do any other hobbies besides?
Yes, I do. I like gardening.
You do?
let's see what else. I like working on cars.
Oh,
Got
yeah.
into that.
I could use you for both gardening and working on cars. And painting, by the way. I'm getting ready to paint my house. So
That's a different kind of
inside.
painting. But
I know, but you could put some pretty murals in my house. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about ghost hunting.
Okay.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello everyone, Mike Stevenson here once again from the Paranormal Land Research Center. As you see, we're back up in the children's room here at Redwood, trying to do another session and collect some more evidence. As you've probably seen on our website, we have a lot of different projects going. If you are interested in any of them, please contact us. Alrighty? Just remember, we function to help everyone. We're not a group just for our own evidence gathering. We gather evidence and help for everyone. We research all different kinds of circumstances, situations. Several of them are listed on our website right now. Please take your time, take a look, and have a great day.
Welcome back. We're talking to Kat Kirkpatrick of Evermore Paranormal. So, obviously, I already said that you are a team member on Evermore Paranormal. So how long have you been on Evermore?
About 6 years.
Okay, and what do you do with the team?
Well, I investigate ghosts.
Yes, you do. So you don't really mess with the equipment or anything. You're more.
No, I don't have any. I don't. Learning about them is great. Learning about the voice recorder, K2, seeing it light up. It's really exciting.
Oh yeah, I know. You borrow my K2 all the time.
Yeah, I try.
To check things out. I'm going to just have to give you one so you know, you don't have to borrow it all the time. So how did you get involved with Evermore Paranormal?
Well, my best buddy got me into it after I told her about one terrifying thing that happened to me a long time ago.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I know you came into the paranormal field kicking and screaming. Really, you didn't want to be.
No, I didn't. Wasn't kicking.
Oh, okay.
But I was kind of
not
hesitant.
scared.
I was hesitant about it.
So, Kat, are you a believer or a skeptic?
I'm a believer.
You're a believer.
Yeah.
Because of what happened to you in Missouri.
Yes.
Okay. And what is your favorite thing about ghost hunting and the paranormal?
Seeing that K2 light up, and something just right next to you, and you don't even see it. It's like you get chills.
Like when we were at Wendy's and it was just going crazy that night on National Ghost Hunting Day?
That was awesome.
So now tell us about your first paranormal experience, the one we've been alluding to. I know this was something that's very traumatic to you. How old were you and where did it happen? And just give me the whole story.
Okay, I know I was in my 40s. I was married then. And at that point in time, we were having a little difficulty in our relationship. And we had a fight that night.
And you were in Missouri at the time, right?
It was Missouri, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so I was really upset, and we had 3 rooms, so I went to one room, you know, trying to get myself together and try to sleep. And what happened when I was just almost asleep, I felt these hands around my throat, and I couldn't breathe at all. And at that time, I was trying to be a good wife, learn about the Bible, and they say, to speak God's name, and the wicked spirit would go. Well, that's what I did. I said his name, and all of us was lifted. I was so freaked out at that time.
I bet. Because, I mean, if you're fighting with your husband, you can't. Did you go running to him like, honey,
No,
I was just choked, or you really couldn't go to him at
thank
that
God.
time, right?
I was so scared, and I thank God that he was gone. Finding out later from a neighbor, that person killed himself in the basement.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So you think the person...
I get chills
the
just
spirit,
thinking about it already.
Yes, me too. The spirit that choked you, I'm sorry, hon.
That's all right.
It's luckily you are many states away now, and it's many years in the past, but you think that the spirit that choked you was the guy that hung himself in the basement?
Yeah, I would think it would be. Because
Now, how much longer did you have to live there? I mean, you're there having marital problems, and how long did you have to live there after this happened to you?
I think a couple more years, and then we moved.
Wow. So for those few years, did you feel like it was still around? When you found out that the guy hung himself in the basement, did you avoid the basement after that, or did you have to go down there and wash clothes?
Sometimes, no, I think the washer and dryer was upstairs.
Oh, thank goodness.
But my former husband and my son were working in the basement, and they heard, one time I wasn't there, they heard footsteps running in the house. So I wasn't there, and it was kind of weird because the doors were locked.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if that is why you were very hesitant to start getting into the paranormal field.
Right, because I didn't want any more ghosts attacking me.
Right, and since you've been, in the paranormal field now 6 years, going on ghost hunts with me and the team, has anything happened to you that, that attacked you? Anything touch you, pull you, pinch you, anything that was negative?
No.
No. Now, you have been on a lot of events with Evermore, and we have experienced a lot of stuff, such as at Wendy's and at the community center. Is there anything or any highlights that stand out that just you were in awe, like, I can't believe, it makes you more of a believer than you were?
Yeah, actually seeing the K2, like I said, going off and actually being cold, but something, next to you, and people hearing that they got pinched, or even your situation of being touched. And
many times, yeah. So they haven't touched you in all the times. You don't remember any of them touching you? We've been on 6 years worth of events.
No.
Nothing touching you. How about, have you heard anything? You usually sense the cold, right?
I remember one time at the community center, we there was two of us going down one hall, and it felt really cold, and I felt it was like you see like a image, and it was like scared me. I said, let's turn around and go this way.
This is at the community center. Was this in the really haunted
area
where we've seen some really negative stuff there, like the Grim Reaper and stuff down that hall?
I felt present like it was evil, so I said, let's turn around.
And you turned around.
Yeah, that's I want to go now.
I can imagine. And have you saw that? Yeah. So you've seen shadows. Have you seen any other apparitions? Any ghosts?
Besides orbs.
Orbs, you've seen the orbs. Now, when we've been to Wendy's, and we've talked about Wendy's Dream Meadows, we've talked about that many times on other shows. How do you feel when you go to Dream Meadows? Do you feel it's as haunted as everybody says?
Yes, I do.
As soon as you step on the property, you feel it?
No, until we start walking the grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main house, I'm thinking, the barn, the main house. Well, when we did National Ghost Hunting Day last year, and we were all sitting in our living room.
That was awesome.
Everybody had a K2, and they were all like going off, like lighting fully to red. And we were trying to go live, so we were having technical difficulties. And you're like, Suzanne, look at that K2. Yeah. I'm like, no, we're going live at 10 o'clock. We gotta, but yeah. So now that you've been investigating for 6 years with us, and do you feel like you're okay now with that? What happened to you a long time ago? That was just one negative incident. Since then, nothing really has been. Basically, ghosts get a bad rap. Most ghosts are okay. It's just a few that are bad you don't want to run into.
Right.
Do you kind of feel that way now, that that was just a rare incident and not something that's going to happen to you every time we go out?
I feel that I got more of an impression with encouragement from everybody, learning, not being afraid, that there are ghosts that are nice. I don't want to say nice, and then there's evil. And some are mean. Yeah.
But more, I think more nice than mean. If you want to be basic, more or you're not. You know, that is what we need to get. No, I know, but that's what we need to get across in the field too. A lot of people, every time, if somebody pulls on your necklace or your cross, which I've had happen, somebody pulls your hair, somebody pinches you, or whatever, it's not necessarily that they're evil. They're just trying to get your attention. The really bad spirits, the demonic ones, are very rare. And another thing is, in life, you know, there are nice people in life and there are nice people in death. There are, if they were crotchety or whatever and meanies in life, they're probably going to carry that over, and there's still going to be a nasty personality in death. So yeah, that's important to know that, you know, that happened to you once, and since then, all the things you've done, nothing's attacked you.
Right.
But
I just feel a little stronger now that, you know, especially with your encouragement and seeing you being out there.
Well, they feed off fear, and so you don't. You go into these ghost hunts, and you know not to let them, you know, bluff them out, not let them know that you're afraid. If you are afraid. Excuse me. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're with Kat Kirkpatrick. So now, Kat, I want to talk to you about working in the antiques field and in the antiques business and working at antique malls for most of your career. So how long have you worked at the current antique mall?
About 16 years.
16 years, oh my goodness.
Yes.
So being working, now when you worked at the one in Missouri, did you ever experience anything paranormal there or anything weird? No?
No, just had a lot of fun there.
Just had a lot of fun.
And spend money.
and I think now, and spend money, I know, and exactly. So I think now that you're more aware, because you're in the paranormal field, you're more aware of weird things happening, the subtleties, the nuances that ghosts and spirits, that's how they are, most of them. So at the antique mall that you work out right now, have you had any customers come in and tell you, I know you've told me that you've had some psychics, different people come in, patrons, to tell you that there's ghosts there that you weren't aware of.
Right. Well, it first started out a phone call. A woman called me and said she had a friend come to the store saying that there was something upstairs. I go, what? No. She says, yeah, her friend came out and she walked around and she went upstairs and felt vibes about it, that there was a man present upstairs.
Where was he? Where's he present?
He was located in a corner of the building. And what I was told that you had to mess around with the booth and he would get all, but actually that's not true. There've been many dealers moved in and out,
That same corner booth? Yeah, I've had experiences there too, and if we have time, I'll tell you about it. But you know, I've had a few experiences in that corner booth,
Yes.
even recently. So how about, so this lady calls the antique mall. She wasn't the one that experienced the stuff. Her
Right.
friend was. Was she
Yes.
with her friend when they came in? I mean, that seems kind of weird. Why?
I was not there at the time, so I don't know. She just told me over the phone that she went upstairs and there was a presence.
Is this the same woman? I know somebody said there was a presence that hangs around on the stairs too. I thought. At the top of the stairs?
A long time ago, there was some girls I worked with that saw like a mist at the top of the stairs. And I go, really? And I just kind of went over my head. So I don't want to believe this, you know, but
Might have been before you got into the paranormal.
right.
You didn't really like, oh well. Plus, you know, you're there some nights you have to go upstairs, turn all the lights out. You don't want to be afraid.
Right.
I know I don't.
Right.
I know when I worked there for a little bit, and I don't want to be up there with the lights out. So, how about also, wasn't there some kind of experience downstairs on the far side of the antique mall? There's a woman over there.
I heard from another customer. It was a different woman. She mentioned to me that she can feel her roaming around in the building downstairs in the area.
Well, I don't want to scare you, but the other day I got a picture of a woman upstairs after the music box played on its own.
Yeah.
I swear it looks like one of the dealers that's passed away. But I haven't seen you, so I will show you.
I got chills.
I know. I will show you because you know you had. I don't want to name names, but there was an employee that passed away, not on the property, but she was young.
Yeah,
and her daughter worked there. They both worked there.
Right.
And I know there was at least two dealers that have passed away. Again, not on the property.
Right.
But you know, when you're in the paranormal field, and I mean, not the paranormal field, but the antique business, they're passionate about that. They love their antiques. They love that stuff. And you know, when you have a booth there and they'd come and set their booth up and so on, you know, I can see them being attached, at least the people that we're talking about that really love the antiques business.
Right. They were wonderful people. They really were.
So without me getting into my stories, if I have a minute, I'll tell you real quick what happened to me. But tell me the time that you had your experience there.
Okay. It was closing time where I locked the doors and turned all the lights out. I was back in the office working. You know, putting the money away and all that. And I see this mist go by the front door, or the front desk. And I get these chills. I'm going, oh God, get the strength to go over there.
And you've already locked the door.
Yeah, I already locked the door, so I'm going over there. I'm going, all right, we're closed. Nobody's here. You know, so I say, I'm getting my stuff and going.
Oh my goodness, that's the only time.
That's the only
But that was enough to scare you, right?
Yeah. I had hairs going.
Did you go and look and just make sure nobody came in?
I did. And I go, the door's locked because the key's in there. And then I go into that room, looking around, and say, hey, we're closed. And I didn't see anything.
Wow.
So it was, it was like.
Yes, and that's the only time. That's the only thing you've personally experienced there.
Yes.
Okay. Well.
Yes.
Now, since we got.
I think we're kind of become friends. I guess they don't bother me. I don't bother them.
Yeah.
Or I say good morning.
I mean, you're like when you come in. Do you usually open up, or
yes,
you do open up? So it's kind of everything's off and quiet and. And then sometimes you close on your own too, but most of the time there's two people there. But you know,
correct.
So they stagger it. But anyway, let me just tell you real quick, since we got a couple minutes. Okay, downstairs in my booth, I've been hearing someone call my name. I've heard it a few times. They say Susan, and I'm Suzanne. Nobody calls me Susan. There was an employee that worked there named Susan, so I'm wondering about that.
Yeah, she was nice.
Right, and she passed away, so I'm wondering about if there's some connection there. That is the only thing I've experienced downstairs. Upstairs, I've had a few things. One, the booth that you're talking about in the corner upstairs, I have had several things happen to me. One was I was getting high K2 readings up there. So I found this hat. It was a military hat that was kind of hidden, like it had fallen off and nobody knew it was there. It was even for sale. And what was weird is I thought somehow this hat was connected to these feelings that I was getting. I left that day, didn't have a price on it. I was going to come back and buy it. And when I came back to buy it, it was gone. The dealer had moved out. I was totally shocked because they'd been there for years. So it was almost like I was on the verge of discovering what was going on with the paranormal there, and it like hurried and got out of there. Most recently in that booth, I was hearing my name called again by a woman, and they were saying Susan again. And it was upstairs in that booth. And when I came back to check it out, that dresser was gone. And ever since the dresser was left that was up in that booth, I think it was attached to the dresser. The dresser's gone, I'm not hearing my name. And then we're about to wrap up. This past week I was in there and the music box went off on another booth. I kept looking for where the music box was going off. I took a picture of it just for heck, you know. And when I got home, only one picture. And when I got home and I zoomed in, there's a lady standing back there, and she looks like one of the former dealers. So I'll have to show you that picture. So very creepy. I accidentally got her picture.
Oh,
So
I gotta
anyway,
see that.
thank you for coming, Kat. We've run out of time.
Thank you for